To our amazing viewers at Cheating Tales Lab, we'd love to hear, which part of the world are you joining us from? Let us know. Now, let's dive into today's story. Chapter 1, The Envelope. The steady beep of the heart monitor was the only sound in the ICU room when I folded Seth's leather jacket. My son lay motionless in a hospital bed, tubes snaking from his arms, a ventilator breathing for him. 22 years old, and the surgeon had just told me his chances of recovery were minimal. Michelle had left moments ago to call family, her sobs echoing down the sterile hallway. I was grateful for the silence. I needed to think, to process, to figure out how a routine drive home from campus had turned into this nightmare. The jacket still smelled like Seth, Old Spice deodorant, and coffee. My hands shook as I smoothed the worn leather, the same jacket I'd given him for his 21st birthday. Something crinkled in the inner pocket. A sealed envelope, my name written across it in Seth's careful handwriting. My stomach dropped. The envelope was thick, deliberately hidden in a pocket I knew Seth never used. I glanced at the door, then at my son's bruised face. The machines breathed for him, steady and mechanical. I tore open the seal. Dad, if you're seeing this, go to storage unit 142 to discover the actual truth about what really happened. Trust no one, not even family, especially not Uncle Warren. The brake lines weren't an accident. I have proof of everything. Don't let him know you know. S. The paper crumpled in my fist. My vision tunneled, the room spinning. Brake lines. Not an accident. Warren Hatfield, my business partner of 15 years. Michelle's older brother. The man who'd stood beside me at our wedding. Who'd helped me build Donaldson Construction from the ground up. Who'd held Seth when he was born. The man who tried to murder my son. I read the note again, forcing my Marine training to override the rage burning through my chest. Trust no one. Seth had known something, discovered something worth killing for, and he'd been smart enough to leave me breadcrumbs. The door opened. I shoved the note into my pocket as Michelle returned, her eyes red and swollen. Warren followed behind her, his face arranged in perfect concern. Chris, brother, I'm so sorry. Warren's hand landed on my shoulder, heavy and warm. The police said it was brake failure, just a terrible accident. I looked at him, really looked for the first time since arriving at the hospital. Warren was 48, 3 years older than Michelle, with the same dark hair, now graying at the temples. He wore an expensive suit despite the late hour, his Rolex catching the fluorescent light. Everything about him screamed success, reliability, family. I trusted this man with my business, my family, my life. Yeah, I said, my voice steady. Terrible accident. Warren's brown eyes held mine for a beat too long, searching. I kept my expression neutral, every muscle controlled. 15 years in the Marines had taught me how to lie to people who wanted to kill me. Warren wouldn't see a thing. Is there anything I can do? Warren asked. Anything at all. Just pray, Michelle whispered, gripping my arm. Pray he wakes up. I wrapped my arm around my wife, feeling the note burn against my ribs. He'll wake up. Seth's strong. He's a fighter. Warren nodded slowly. Of course. The Donaldson strength. He checked his watch. I should let you two have time alone. Call me if anything changes. Anything at all. After he left, Michelle collapsed into the chair beside Seth's bed, taking our son's hand. I stood by the window, watching Warren's Mercedes pull out of the parking lot, my reflection staring back at me in the glass. Chris Donaldson, 45 years old, former Marine Corps combat engineer, Bronze Star recipient, built a multi-million-dollar construction empire from nothing. And I've been blind to a viper in my own nest. My phone buzzed. A text from Warren. Stay strong, brother. We'll get through this together. I deleted it and pulled out Seth's note again, memorizing every word before tucking it back into my pocket. Storage unit 142. Tomorrow morning, before Michelle woke, I'd find out exactly what my son had discovered. And then Warren Hatfield would learn what happened when you came for a Donaldson's family. Chapter 2, Unit 142. The secure store facility squatted on the east side of town, a sprawling complex of orange metal doors and fluorescent security lights. I'd driven past it 1,000 times without a second glance. Now, at 6 a.m. with coffee burning my gut and rage simmering in my veins, it looked like a fortress holding the truth. Unit 142 was in the back corner, deliberately isolated. Seth had been careful. The key had been taped inside the envelope, small and brass. My hands didn't shake this time as I unlocked the rolling door and hauled it upward. The unit was maybe 10 by 10, and every inch was covered in evidence. A corkboard dominated the back wall, covered in photographs, documents, and red string connecting them like a detective's war room. My son's laptop sat on a folding table, surrounded by file folders, USB drives, and a stack of notebooks filled with Seth's meticulous handwriting. I stepped inside and pulled the door down behind me, sealing myself in with my son's final investigation. The center of the corkboard showed Warren's face, a professional headshot from our company website. Red strings radiated outward to dozens of other photographs, construction sites, building permits, city officials, and what looked like medical records. I started with the notebooks. Seth's journalism professor at State had assigned him to investigate local construction practices. What started as a puff piece about urban development had turned into something darker. March 3rd, noticed discrepancy in Warren's materials requisition for the Riverside Apartments project. Ordered 40% less rebar than code requires. Asked Dad about it. He didn't know. W handles most supplier relationships. March 15th, found 3 other projects with similar discrepancies. Materials cutting corners. Warren signs off personally on all of them. Dad's signature forged on inspection documents. March 22nd, the Riverside project approved for occupancy. 200 families moving in next month. If my calculations are right, that building won't survive a moderate earthquake. Need more proof before going to Dad. The pages continued, each entry more damning than the last. Seth had discovered that Warren had been systematically compromising building safety across every major project for the past 5 years. Substandard concrete, insufficient rebar, cheap materials swapped for quality. Every shortcut invisible to inspectors, but catastrophic in practice. And the money. God, the money. Seth estimated Warren had pocketed over $8 million in the scheme, paying off inspectors and falsifying documents while I've been focused on the design and bidding side of the business. I'd trusted Warren to handle procurement and compliance. He'd used that trust to build death traps. But it got worse. A separate folder contained news clippings and incident reports. The Highland Tower collapsed last year. 2 dead, 15 injured. Officially ruled as foundation issues. Seth's notes proved it was one of our buildings, one of Warren's compromised projects. The Preston Street structural failure 6 months ago. 1 dead, 8 injured. Another Warren special. And 3 weeks ago, a partial ceiling collapse at the Meadowbrook complex. No deaths, but a child paralyzed. The family was still in litigation, and I thought it was just tragic bad luck. Warren hadn't just stolen money. He'd killed people, destroyed lives, and he'd done it using my company, my reputation, my name. My vision blurred. I braced myself against the table, breathing hard. The laptop was password protected, but I knew my son. I tried his birthday, my birthday, and Michelle's. Nothing. Then I tried the date he'd enlisted for the Marines before I talked him into college instead. 0815. The screen unlocked. Folders upon folders of scanned documents, photographs, recordings. Seth had built an airtight case. Bank statements showing Warren's offshore accounts. Emails to suppliers using coded language. Photos of Warren meeting with City Inspector Ollie Horton at expensive restaurants. And video. I clicked on a file dated 2 weeks ago. The footage was grainy, shot from a distance, but clear enough. Warren and another man in a parking garage, arguing. The audio was muffled, but I caught fragments. Can't keep doing this. Too late to back out now, Victor. People are dying, Warren. Warren grabbed the other man, Victor Avery. I recognized him as one of our structural engineers and shoved him against the car. You knew what this was from the beginning. You take your cut and keep your mouth shut, or you'll have bigger problems than your conscience. The video ended. I sat back, my mind racing. Victor was involved too. How many others in my own company? The final notebook contains Seth's timeline from the past 2 weeks. April 10th. Warren noticed me asking questions. Follow me to coffee shop where I met with source. April 12th. My apartment was broken into. Nothing stolen, but my notes were photographed. I'm moving everything here. April 14th. Confronted Warren. Told him I knew everything. He threatened me. Said I had no proof. That Dad would never believe me over him. He's right about one thing. I need ironclad evidence before going to Dad. Warren's been family for too long. April 16th. Installing dash cam in my car. If anything happens to me, Dad will know where to look. Warren's getting desperate. I need to be smarter. April 18th. Writing this in case I'm wrong about how desperate. Dad, if you're reading this, I'm sorry I didn't come to you sooner. I thought I could handle it. Thought I needed perfect evidence. I should have trusted you. Warren's planning something. I can feel it. The storage unit has everything you need. Make him pay. Make him pay for everyone he's hurt. I love you. Seth. That was yesterday's date. Yesterday, my son had written what he knew might be his last words to me. Today, he was in a coma because his uncle had cut his brake lines. I closed the notebook and stood, surveying the evidence. Seth had done the hard part. He'd built the case, documented everything, created a roadmap to Warren's destruction. Now I just had to decide, turn it over to the police or handle this my way. The legal route was clean, safe, proper, but Warren had already paid off inspectors and officials. He had connections, money, lawyers. He might slip through, claim ignorance, sacrifice a few underlings. And even if convicted, he'd spend years in a minimum security facility while my son fought for his life. The other option, I was a combat engineer. I knew demolitions, structure, pressure points. I knew how to make things collapse in exactly the right way. And I knew Warren's schedule, his habits, his weaknesses. Seth's words echoed in my mind. Make him pay. I gathered the most critical documents, photographed the corkboard, and copied everything from the laptop onto 2 USB drives. One would go in my safe deposit box. The other I'd keep on me. Then I locked Unit 142 and drove toward the hospital, my decision crystallizing with every mile. Warren Hatfield had tried to murder my son to protect his empire of greed and death. I was going to make sure he failed on both counts. Chapter 3. The Fox in the Henhouse. Michelle was asleep in the chair beside Seth's bed when I returned, her head tilted at an uncomfortable angle, exhaustion written across her features. I draped my jacket over her shoulders and checked Seth's monitors. No change. Wake up, kid, I whispered, squeezing his hand. I need you to wake up and tell me I'm not crazy for what I'm about to do. His fingers were warm, but still. The ventilator hissed and clicked. My phone buzzed with a calendar reminder. 8 a.m. senior staff meeting at Donaldson Construction. Perfect. I kissed Michelle's forehead. I need to run to the office for a couple hours. Work stuff that can't wait. She stirred, blinking. Now? Chris, Seth isn't going anywhere, and you're exhausted. I'll be back by noon. Promise. I help her into a more comfortable position. Get some real rest. I got my phone on if anything changes. The lie tasted bitter, but necessary. Michelle loved her brother. Until I had everything in place, she couldn't know the truth. Donaldson Construction occupied the top 3 floors of the Sentinel building downtown, a structure I designed myself, built to withstand anything short of a nuclear strike. The irony wasn't lost on me. Warren's black Mercedes was already in the garage. Always the first one in, last one out. The dedicated partner, the family man, the murderer. I rode the elevator to the executive floor, reviewing Seth's notes on my phone. Warren had corrupted at least 3 employees. Victor Avery, our chief structural engineer, Ollie Horton, the city's senior building inspector, and someone in our accounting department handling the money laundering. Seth hadn't identified the accountant yet. The conference room buzzed with morning energy. My senior team, Victor looking pale and nervous. Clay Hand, our site supervisor, genuine and solid. Timothy Tucker, head of acquisitions. Iris Heath, our PR director. And Warren, sitting at the far end of the table like a king, coffee in hand. Chris. Warren stood immediately. You should be at the hospital. We can handle. Sit down, Warren. My voice was flat, controlled. I need 30 minutes, then I'm gone. Everyone settled uneasily. I could see the concern in their eyes. the boss whose son was dying, trying to work through the pain. Let them think that. I've been reviewing our current projects. I began pulling up a presentation on the screen, and I'm concerned about material costs. Victor's coffee cup rattled against the saucer. Specifically, I want to audit our supplier contract for the Riverside, Highland, and Preston projects. I clicked through slides Seth had helped me prepare last month, before he'd known what he was documenting. Our margins are off. Way off. Warren's expression never changed. Chris, you're under incredible stress. This can wait. It can't. I met his eyes, because I just got a call from the Meadowbrook family's lawyer. They're expanding their lawsuit, claiming we knowingly used substandard materials. That was a lie, but I watched Victor's face go white. That's ridiculous, Warren said smoothly. Every project meets code. We have documentation. Then you won't mind me reviewing those documents personally. I smiled without warmth. In fact, I want complete material requisitions and inspection reports for every project we've completed in the last 5 years on my desk by end of day. That's hundreds of projects. Then you'd better start now. The room went silent. Clay looked confused. Iris was taking notes. Timothy watched the exchange with interest. Victor looked like he might vomit. And Warren's mask finally slipped. Just for a second, I saw calculation in his eyes, measuring, assessing the threat. Of course, he said, whatever you need. But Chris, this really can wait until Seth. Don't. The word cracked like a whip. Don't use my son to deflect from this. If there's nothing wrong, there's nothing to worry about. Warren nodded slowly. You're right. I'm sorry. We'll get you everything. The meeting continued for another 20 minutes, routine business that I barely heard. I watched Warren instead, saw how he texted under the table, how his jaw tensed, how he barely touched his coffee. He was rattled. Good. After everyone filed out, Clay lingered. Boss, you okay? You seem different. Clay Hand was 38, former Army Ranger, loyal to a fault. I'd hired him 8 years ago, and he'd never given me reason to doubt him. Seth's notes had never mentioned him. I made a choice. Closed the door. Clay's expression shifted from concern to alert. What's going on? If I told you Warren was dirty, what would you say? His eyes widened, but he didn't hesitate. I'd ask what you need. Relief flooded through me. How good are you at keeping secrets? I've kept worse than you can imagine. I pulled out my phone and showed him one of Seth's photos. A shipping manifest showing materials ordered versus materials delivered for the Highland Tower. The difference was staggering. Jesus, Clay breathed. How long? 5 years. Maybe more. And Seth found out. Understanding dawned on Clay's face, followed by cold fury. The accident wasn't an accident. Clay's fist clenched. Tell me what you need. Over the next hour, I laid it out. Not everything. Not yet, but enough. Clay had access to sites, to materials, to information Warren couldn't easily hide. He'd be my eyes and ears. One more thing, I said. This stays between us. Not a word to anyone. Not your wife, not your team, nobody. Warren has people on his payroll, and I don't know who yet. Understood. Clay stood. Chris, I'm sorry about Seth. He's a good kid. Smart. He is. And he's going to wake up and see his old man finish what he started. After Clay left, I sat in my office overlooking the city. Somewhere out there, people were living and working in buildings Warren had compromised. Time bombs waiting for the right earthquake, the right storm, the right moment to collapse. Seth had tried to stop it alone and nearly died. I wasn't alone, and I didn't have Seth's scruples about evidence and proper channels. My phone rang. The hospital. My heart seized. Mr. Donaldson? It's Dr. Sanders. Seth's showing some response to stimuli. We're cautiously optimistic. The relief almost buckled my knees. I'll be right there. There's something else. We ran a full talk screen as standard procedure in trauma cases. Your son had traces of a sedative in his system. Rohypnol, not enough to cause the accident directly, but enough to impair reaction time significantly. My blood ran cold. Someone drugged him? It appears so. We've reported it to the police. Detective Russell Hammond will want to speak with you. I thanked her and ended the call, my mind racing. Warren hadn't just cut the brakes. He drugged Seth first, ensuring he wouldn't be able to react when the brakes failed. This wasn't just attempted murder. It was calculated, premeditated, personal, and it changed everything. I pulled up Warren's calendar, shared across our executive team for scheduling. Tomorrow night, he had a meeting at the Riverside Apartments building site. The same building Seth had identified as a death trap. The same building that was supposed to open to residents next week. A plan began forming, dark and dangerous and perfect. Warren wanted to play with lives? Fine. Let's see how he liked being on the other side of the equation. Chapter 4, Building the Case. Detective Russell Hammond looked like he'd walked out of a noir film. Mid-50s, graying at the temples, eyes that missed nothing. He sat across from me in the hospital cafeteria, a recorder between us, and coffee neither of us touched. Tell me about your son's relationship with his uncle. I'd spent the past 2 hours being questioned, and Hammond was smart enough to circle back to the same topics from different angles, looking for inconsistencies. Close, I said carefully. Warren's been part of Seth's life since birth. Took him to baseball games, helped with homework, recommended him for internships. But I met Hammond's eyes. But what? You hesitated. Just a fraction. Hammond leaned forward. Mr. Donaldson, your son was drugged and his brake lines were cut. This wasn't an accident. Someone wanted him dead. And statistically, that someone is usually close to the victim. You think Warren tried to kill Seth? I think your son was investigating something. His professors say he was working on a big story, something about construction. Your company, and I think you know more than you're telling me. Smart. Too smart. Detective, if I knew who tried to kill my son, they'd already be dead. Hammond studied me for a long moment. You're former military, Marine combat engineer, decorated. I respect that. But if you're planning something, I'm planning to be here when my son wakes up. That's all. It wasn't a lie, just incomplete. Hammond gave me his card. If you remember anything relevant, call me, day or night. And Mr. Donaldson, don't do anything you'll regret. Let the law handle this. After he left, I returned to Seth's room. Michelle was reading to him, one of his favorite books for childhood. She looked up red-eyed. The detective thinks someone tried to kill him. I know. Who would? Her voice broke. Who would want to hurt our baby? I pulled her close, feeling her tears soak my shirt. I want to tell her everything, to share the burden. But Michelle's love for Warren ran deep, decades of sibling bonds and family loyalty. Until I had undeniable proof, she'd defend him, maybe even warn him. I don't know, I lied. But Hammond's good. He'll find them. That afternoon, while Michelle napped, I met Clay at a coffee shop 3 blocks from the hospital. He slid a folder across the table. You were right. It's worse than you thought. Inside were photos Clay had taken at various job sites. Materials stamped with quality certifications that didn't match the actual products used. Concrete mixtures that looked right, but tested weak. Rebar spacing that violated code. I pulled samples from the Riverside site, Clay said quietly. Had a buddy and an independent lab test them. The concrete's about 60% strength of what's specified. An earthquake, hell, a strong wind could bring it down. That building opens next week. I know. Clay's jaw tightened. 200 families, kids, and Warren's still planning the grand opening ceremony. I thought of the Highland Tower collapse, the Preston Street failure, the paralyzed child at Meadowbrook. We need to stop the opening. Can you manufacture a problem? Something that forces a delay. Already on it. I'm scheduling a surprise inspection for tomorrow, bringing in some contractors I trust. We'll find enough code violations to shut it down for at least a month. Warren will know someone tipped off the inspectors. Let him. What's he going to do? Confess to cutting corners. Clay leaned back. But Chris, even if we stop this one, there are dozens of other buildings out there. And Warren's going to lawyer up the second things get official. He was right. Stopping Riverside was a bandage, not a cure. My phone buzzed. A text from Victor Avery. We need to talk. Private. Tonight. I know what happened to Seth. I showed Clay. It's a trap, he said immediately. Maybe. Or maybe Victor's conscience is finally eating him alive. I typed back, where? The response came seconds later. My lake house. 8 p.m. Come alone. I have information about Warren. I don't like it, Clay said. Neither do I. But if Victor's willing to flip, we might get everything we need without. I stopped. Without what? I met Clay's eyes. Without having to do something we can't take back. That evening, I told Michelle I was meeting with the company lawyers about Seth's case. Another lie to add to the growing pile. She accepted it with a weary nod, her attention on Seth's monitors. Victor's lake house sat 30 miles outside the city, accessible only by a winding dirt road. Perfect for privacy, also perfect for ambush. I parked a quarter-mile away and approached on foot, my service pistol, legally owned, regularly maintained, tucked to my back. The house was dark except for a light in the living room. Victor answered on the first knock, looking haunted. He'd aged a decade in the last month. "Thank God you came," he said, ushering me inside. "I didn't know if you'd believe me." The living room was sparse. A couch, a table, windows overlooking the dark lake. No signs of anyone else. "Doc," I said. Victor poured himself a whiskey with shaking hands. "I didn't know. I swear I didn't know Warren was going to hurt Seth." "But you knew about the materials fraud." His face crumpled. "Yes. God help me, yes. Warren approached me 5 years ago. Said we could make extra money, that building codes were overly cautious anyway, that nobody would get hurt. And the money was... I have debts, Chris. Bad debts." Warren offered a solution. "People died, Victor." "I know." The glass slammed down. "I know. Highland, Preston, Meadowbrook, I carry them every day. But I was in too deep. If I confessed, I'd lose everything. Prison, my license, my family. So you stayed quiet while Warren tried to kill my son. I didn't know he was going to do that. Seth came to me 2 weeks ago, asking questions. I told Warren yes, but I thought he'd just pay him off or threaten a lawsuit. I didn't think..." Victor's voice broke. "I didn't think he'd try to murder him. I believed him. Victor was weak, greedy, complicit, but not a killer. What do you want, Victor?" "I want to make it right. I have records, communications with Warren, proof of the offshore accounts. I'll testify, give you everything, help put him away. But I need immunity for my cooperation." "That's not my call." "No, but you know Detective Hammond. You could make an introduction, explain that I'm cooperating. Warren's the mastermind. I'm just a coward who let people die for money." Victor flinched. "Yes, but a coward who wants to stop him before anyone else gets hurt." I considered it. Victor's testimony and records would strengthen the case. Make it airtight. The legal route suddenly seemed more viable. "Give me the records. I'll talk to Hammond." Victor retrieved a laptop and 2 USB drives from a safe. "Everything's here. Bank transfers, emails, altered inspection reports. Warren's going down, Chris. I promise." I took the drives, weighing them in my palm. "One question. How did Warren drug Seth?" Victor went pale. "What?" "Seth had Rohypnol in his system. Someone slipped it to him before the accident." "Was it you?" "No. I swear I didn't." Victor's eyes widened. "Wait. Seth mentioned meeting Warren for coffee the morning of the accident. Warren said it was to talk about his summer internship. Of course, Warren had drugged his own nephew, then sent him driving toward brake failure. Did Warren tell you he was going to cut the brakes?" "No. I found out the same way everyone else did when Seth crashed. I confronted Warren yesterday. He said it was necessary, that Seth was going to destroy everything." Victor's hand shook. "That's when I knew I had to get out. If he'd kill his own nephew, he'd kill anyone, including Victor, probably once the engineer was no longer useful. Stay here. Lock your doors. Don't contact Warren. I'll call Hammond tonight." Relief flooded Victor's face. "Thank you. God, thank you. I know I don't deserve. You don't. But you're doing the right thing now. Finally. That counts for something." I left Victor at the lake house and drove back toward the city, the USB drives burning in my pocket. This changed the calculation. With Victor's testimony and records plus Seth's evidence, the legal case was solid. Warren would go to prison, probably for life. But it still felt like he was getting off easy. My phone rang. "Clay, we got a problem. Warren moved up the Riverside opening to tomorrow afternoon. Some PR push about community development. He's planning a ribbon-cutting ceremony with the mayor, press, families touring the apartments. He knows we're onto him. Yeah, and he's accelerating. If that building fails with people inside." I checked my mirrors, making sure I wasn't being followed. "Can you stop it?" "Not officially. The inspections I arranged won't happen until Friday now." And I can't call in a bomb threat or something without serious consequences. My mind raced. Warren was cornering himself, getting desperate. Desperate people made mistakes. Or they made everyone else pay for their mistakes. I'm calling Hammond, sending him all the evidence tonight. Let the cops shut down Riverside. And if they can't move fast enough, then I'd have to. Chapter 5, Pressure Points. Detective Hammond arrived at my house at midnight, bleary-eyed but alert. I'd spent the previous 2 hours copying files, organizing evidence, building a timeline that even a rookie could follow. This better be good, Donaldson. I handed him the USB drives, both Seth's and Victor's. It's better than good. It's everything. He listened as I walked him through it. The materials fraud, the building failures, the deaths, Warren's offshore accounts. Victor's willingness to testify. Seth's investigation and Warren's attempt to silence him. Hammond's expression grew darker with each revelation. When I finished, he sat back, rubbing his face. This is extensive, but I need to verify the sources, build a chain of custody for evidence, get warrants. That takes time. How much time? 48 hours minimum, maybe more. Warren's opening Riverside Apartments tomorrow at 2 p.m. That building's a death trap. Hammond's jaw tightened. Can you prove imminent danger? Enough to get a judge to issue an emergency injunction at 1 a.m. Could I? Seth's calculations were solid, but they weren't official structural assessments. Clay's concrete samples were from an independent lab, not city certified, not court proof, not in 12 hours. Then we can't stop it legally. Hammond stood, pocketing the drives. But I can have building inspectors there first thing in the morning, doing spot checks. If we find code violations, Warren will have cleaned them up. He's been gaming inspections for 5 years. Then pray nothing happens tomorrow while I build this case. Hammond headed for the door, then paused. Mr. Donaldson, I know what you're thinking. Don't. You give me 48 hours, I'll have Warren in handcuffs and those buildings condemned. You play vigilante, you go to prison, and Warren walks on a technicality. After he left, I sat in my dark kitchen, wargaming scenarios. Hammond was right about the law, but the law was slow, and Warren was accelerating. My phone buzzed. A text from Warren. Heard you're pushing for audits. We should talk, brother. Clear the air. Coffee tomorrow, 7 a.m.? I stared at the message. Warren was fishing, trying to gauge what I knew. If I refused, he'd know I was onto him. If I accepted, I could buy time, maybe get him a slip-up. I typed back, see you there. The coffee shop was a neutral ground, public, safe, cameras everywhere. Warren arrived exactly on time, looking presidential in a tailored suit. Chris, he embraced me, and I forced myself not to pull away. How's Seth? Showing signs of improvement. Doctors are optimistic. Relief crossed Warren's face, and I hated that it looked genuine. Thank God. Michelle must be so relieved. We ordered coffee and sat by the window. Warren sipped his espresso, casual, unbothered. So he said, this audit request. What's really going on? Exactly what I said. The Meadowbrook lawsuit has me concerned about our materials chain. I want to make sure everything's bulletproof. It is. I've personally overseen our supplier relationships for years. I know. That's why I'm confused about the discrepancies. Warren's eyes sharpened. What discrepancies? Material costs versus delivery amounts. The numbers don't match on several projects. Accounting errors. We use multiple vendors, different pricing structures. It's complex. Then help me understand the complexity. Walk me through the Riverside requisitions. For just a moment, Warren's mask cracked. I saw the calculation, the threat assessment. Then he smiled. Of course, after the opening ceremony. I've been so focused on making tomorrow perfect, I haven't had time to dive into historical paperwork. Why the rush on moving up the ceremony? Mayor's schedule. PR opportunity. What? I shrugged. Just seems sudden. Warren leaned forward, his expression shifting to concern. Chris, I'm worried about you. You're under incredible stress. Seth's accident, the business, Michelle falling apart. Maybe you should take some time off. Let me handle things. There it was. The play. Sideline me while he covered his tracks. I appreciate it, but work helps me focus. Keeps me from going crazy. I understand. But these audits, the suspicions, it's not like you. We've been partners for 15 years. Brothers. I'd never do anything to hurt you or this company. The lie was so smooth, so practiced. Looking at him, I could almost believe he was sincere. You're right, I said. We're family, which is why I know you'll cooperate fully with the audit. Warren's smile tightened. Of course. We talked for another 20 minutes. Surface pleasantries, business discussion, empty reassurances. All the while, I watched him, studied him, looking for the monster beneath the mask. Finally, I stood. I should get back to the hospital. Michelle needs me. Give her my love. And Chris. Warren's hand gripped my shoulder. Whatever you're thinking, whatever you suspect, talk to me first. Family shouldn't have secrets. I met his eyes. No, they shouldn't. Walking to my car, I felt Warren's gaze on my back. He knew. Maybe not everything, but enough to know I was a threat, which made me a target. I called Clay from the road. How's Riverside looking? Bad. They've been working all night, putting up drywall over problem areas, cosmetic fixes to hide the structural issues. It'll pass a visual inspection. Hammond's sending city inspectors this morning. They won't find anything Warren doesn't want them to find. Boss, I'm telling you, if that building opens with people inside. I knew. God, I knew. I'm going to the ceremony. Be ready to move if things go sideways. What are you planning? Honestly, I don't know yet. But Warren's not going to let 200 families move into a death trap. Not on my watch. At the hospital, Seth's condition had improved slightly. His pupils were reactive, brain swelling decreased. Dr. Sanders called it cautiously encouraging. Michelle practically glowed with relief. He squeezed my hand this morning. Just a little, but I felt it. That's great, honey. I kissed her forehead. He's fighting. The detective came by again. Asked more questions about Warren. She frowned. Chris, you can't seriously think Warren would hurt Seth. This was the moment. I could tell her everything, show her the evidence, break her heart but enlist her support. Or I could protect her from the truth for a few more hours. Hammond's just being thorough, checking everyone close to Seth. It's ridiculous. Warren loves him. I nodded, saying nothing. Sometimes silence was the kindest lie. At 1:30 p.m., I arrived at Riverside Apartments. The building rose 12 stories, gleaming and new, ribbons and balloons decorating the entrance. A stage had been set up for the ceremony. News vans lined the street, and families milled about excitedly. Parents clutching lease agreements, children running through the lobby. My stomach churned. Warren stood near the stage, shaking hands with the mayor and city council members. He spotted me and waved, all smiles. I scanned the crowd, looking for Clay. Found him near the building's east entrance, dressed in contractor gear, clipboard in hand. He caught my eye and shook his head minutely. No violations found. Warren had covered his tracks. The ceremony began at 2 p.m. sharp. The mayor spoke about community development and affordable housing. Warren took the stage, playing the humble businessman giving back to the city. Proud to offer 200 families a place to call home, built to the highest standards of safety and quality. I couldn't listen. Couldn't watch him lie while standing in front of a building he knew could collapse. My phone buzzed. A text from an unknown number. Look at the support columns. Southeast corner, 3rd floor. Victor. I found the building's floor plan on my phone. Public record from the permit office. 3rd floor, southeast corner. I slipped away from the crowd and into the building, taking the stairs. The 3rd floor hallway was empty. Residents not yet moved in. I found the southeast corner apartment. Door unlocked for tours. Inside, the unit looked perfect. Fresh paint, new appliances, windows overlooking the city. But the support column in the living room looked wrong. The drywall was newer, hastily finished. I pulled out a pocket knife and punched a small hole in the drywall. The column behind it was barely there. Half the rebar was missing, and the concrete was already showing hairline fractures. This building wouldn't survive a month, let alone an earthquake. I photographed everything, then texted Hammond. Get to Riverside now. Imminent structural failure. 3rd floor, southeast column. I have proof. Outside, Warren was cutting the ribbon to applause. Families started flowing into the building, excited to see their new homes. I ran down the stairs, pushing through the crowd. Stop. Everyone needs to evacuate now. People turned, confused. Security guards started toward me. Warren's face went white with rage. "This building is unsafe," I shouted. "The support structure is compromised. Everyone out now." "Sir, you need to calm down." A security guard grabbed my arm. I pulled free. "I'm Chris Donaldson. I own this company, and I'm telling you this building is going to collapse." The crowd murmured, uncertain. Some people started backing toward the exits. Others looked to Warren. "Chris, what are you doing?" Warren's voice carried across the crowd, smooth and concerned. "Ladies and gentlemen, I apologize. My partner is under severe stress. His son was in a terrible accident. He's not himself. I'm perfectly fine, and this building isn't safe. Look at the third-floor support columns if you don't believe me." The building passed all inspections, the mayor interjected. Multiple city engineers certified it, paid-off engineers, falsified reports. I turned to the crowd. "How many of you have children here? Are you willing to bet their lives on Warren Hatfield's word?" That did it. Parents started grabbing their kids, moving toward exits. The crowd's mood shifted from celebration to panic. Warren's mask finally shattered. "You're insane. Guards, remove him from the premises." Touch me, and I pressed charges for assault. I held up my phone, recording, and everyone here is a witness. Police sirens wailed in the distance. Hammond's cavalry arriving. Warren stepped off the stage, walking toward me with deadly calm, close enough that only I could hear his whisper, "You just destroyed everything. Your company, your reputation, your family. For what? Paranoid delusions. For the truth. For Seth. For everyone you killed with your greed." His eyes widened slightly. "You don't know anything. I know about Highland Tower, Preston Street, Meadowbrook, the offshore accounts, Victor's testimony, Seth's evidence." I smiled coldly. "I know everything, Warren. And now, so does Detective Hammond." Warren's face went ashen as police cars pulled up, Hammond stepping out with a team of building inspectors. "You're under arrest," Hammond said, approaching Warren with handcuffs. "Warren Hatfield, for attempted murder, fraud, manslaughter, conspiracy. This is insane." Warren backed away. "I haven't done anything." "Tell it to the judge. You have the right to remain silent." As Hammond cuffed him, Warren's eyes met mine. Pure hatred radiated from that gaze. "This isn't over," he mouthed. I watched them put him in the car, feeling hollow. It should have felt like victory. Justice served, bad guy caught. But it felt incomplete. Too clean. Too easy. And I was right. Because 2 hours later, Warren posted bail, $2 million cash. And that night, while I sat with Seth at the hospital, my phone rang with the worst news possible. Victor Avery was dead. Single gunshot to the head. Ruled a suicide. But I knew better. Warren was tying up loose ends. Chapter 6, The Breaking Point. Victor's suicide hit the news at 11 p.m. I was still at the hospital when Clay called, his voice tight with barely controlled rage. "It's bullshit." Victor was cooperating, ready to testify. He had everything to live for. Warren needed him silent. I stepped into the hallway, lowering my voice. "And now our star witness is dead." Hammond's not buying the suicide angle either. But without Victor's testimony, Clay didn't finish. He didn't have to. Warren's lawyer, some shark named Theodore Finch from a prestigious firm, was already working magic. By morning, the narrative had shifted. Warren was the victim of vendetta by his unstable partner. The building evacuation was a publicity stunt. Victor's death proved the pressure of false accusations. The media ate it up. I watched the morning news with mounting fury. Warren, released on bail, gave a tearful interview outside his lawyer's office. "I'm devastated by Victor's death. The accusations, the stress, it drove him to take his own life. And Chris, my brother-in-law, my friend, I understand he's suffering because of Seth's accident, but these paranoid delusions are tearing our family apart." The interviewer nodded sympathetically. The building inspectors found no structural issues at Riverside Apartments. Because there are none. Yes, we've had tragic accidents at other sites, but construction is dangerous work. These things happen. To suggest deliberate negligence is... Warren's voice broke perfectly. "It's destroying everything I built." I threw the remote across the room. Michelle appeared in the doorway, having just returned from the hospital cafeteria. "Chris, what is happening?" "Warren called me last night, crying. He says you're trying to destroy him. He tried to kill our son." "That's insane." Her voice rose. "Warren loves Seth. You're obsessed, paranoid. I have proof." I pulled out my phone, started showing her the evidence. Seth investigated him, found materials fraud, falsified documents, offshore accounts. "I don't want to see this." She pushed the phone away. "You're having some kind of breakdown? First you humiliate Warren at the opening. Now you're accusing him of murder. He drugged Seth and cut his brake lines." "Says who? The detective?" "They haven't charged him with that. Only some fraud allegations that Warren's lawyer says are accounting errors." Tears streamed down Michelle's face. "He's my brother, Chris. My brother. And you're trying to put him in prison based on documents that could be forged? A dead man's testimony." I stared at my wife, seeing the chasm opening between us. "You don't believe me. I believe you're grieving and stressed and looking for someone to blame." Her voice softened. "Baby, please. Talk to someone. A therapist. Take a break from work. Let Warren what? Finish covering his tracks? Kill anyone else who knows the truth. Listen to yourself. You sound crazy. Maybe I did. To someone who hadn't seen what I'd seen, who didn't know what I knew." "Fine," I said quietly. "I'm crazy, but I'm not letting Warren get away with this." "Then you'll do it alone." Michelle grabbed her purse. "I'm going to stay with my mother for a while. When you're ready to be rational, call me." She left, and the apartment fell silent except for the television's continued character assassination. I called Hammond. "Tell me you have something." The warrant for Warren's offshore accounts is being challenged. His lawyers are claiming illegal search and seizure. And without Victor. Hammond sighed. "I'm sorry, Donaldson. We're still building the case, but it's going to take time." "How much time?" "Months. Maybe longer. He's got resources, connections. He's fighting every charge." I hung up and drove to the hospital, my mind churning. Seth's condition had stabilized enough to move him out of ICU into a regular room. He still wasn't conscious, but his vitals were strong. I sat beside his bed, taking his hand. "I screwed up, kid. Your mom left. Warren's playing the victim, and I'm running out of moves." I squeezed his fingers. "I need you to wake up. Tell me what to do. Because right now, all I want to do is put a bullet in Warren's head and be done with it." Seth's fingers twitched in mine. I sat up straight. "Seth, can you hear me?" His eyelids fluttered. A groan escaped his lips. "Nurse!" I hit the call button. "He's waking up." The next hour was a blur of doctors and tests. Seth drifted in and out of consciousness, unable to speak with the breathing tube, but his eyes tracked movement and he squeezed hands on command. Dr. Sanders was ecstatic. "This is excellent progress. We'll start weaning him off the ventilator tomorrow." I called Michelle. She answered on the fourth ring. "Seth's awake." "Well, waking up. He's responding." I heard her sob. "I'm coming." "Michelle, about Warren." "Not now. Please, Chris. Can we just focus on our son?" She was right. "Yeah, okay." But when she arrived, Warren came with her. He walked into Seth's room like he had every right to be there, his expression perfectly calibrated to show relief and joy. "Seth, buddy." "Thank God." Warren approached the bed. I stepped between them. "Get out." "Chris," Michelle started. "He's not welcome here. Not near Seth. Not ever." Warren's eyes were cold. "I have as much right to be here as you do. Seth's my nephew. The nephew you try to murder. Alleged. And you have no proof." Warren smiled thinly. "In fact, my lawyer's filing a restraining order against you for harassment. So technically, you're the one who needs to leave." "Both of you stop." Michelle moved between us. "This is a hospital room. Our son is trying to recover. Can you both just stop?" I looked at Seth, saw his eyes tracking the confrontation, confused and concerned. I swallowed my rage. "Fine. Warren, you've seen him. He's alive. Now leave." "Actually, I'll stay. Michelle needs support, and clearly you're too unstable to provide it." My fist clenched. Every instinct screamed to hit him, to drag him out of the room, to finish this right now. But Seth was watching, and Michelle was crying, and hospital security was probably one call away. "I'll be back," I told Seth, squeezing his shoulder. Then to Warren, "This isn't over. I look forward to seeing you in court. I left before I did something that would get me arrested." Clay met me in the parking garage. "Heard Seth's awake." "That's great news, boss." "Yeah, great." I leaned against my truck, feeling the weight of everything crushing down. Warren's upstairs, playing the concerned uncle. Michelle's taking a side. Hammond's case is falling apart. Victor's dead, and I'm one bad decision away from throwing my life away. Clay was quiet for a moment. "Want to know what I'd do?" "What?" "Warren's got that meeting tonight at the construction site for the new mall project. Midnight inspection. Just him and the night security. Very isolated. Very private." I understood what Clay wasn't saying. I'm not a murderer. No, but Warren is. And sometimes the only way to stop a monster is to become one yourself. That's not justice. Neither is Victor dead and Warren walking free. Clay met my eyes. "I'm not saying you should. I'm just saying you could. And I'd make sure you had an alibi." I thought about Highland Tower, Preston Street, Meadowbrook, the families who'd lost loved ones. Victor, dead because he'd tried to do the right thing. Seth, fighting for his life because he'd sought the truth. "No," I said finally. "There has to be another way. Then you'd better find it fast. Because Warren's lawyers are dismantling Hammond's case piece by piece. In a month, he'll be free and clear. And you'll have nothing." Clay left me alone with that thought. I drove aimlessly, trying to think. The legal system was failing. My family was fracturing. And Warren was winning. My phone buzzed. A text from an unknown number. "Your son is awake." Good. I'd hate for him to miss what comes next. W. A threat. Clear and direct. Something inside me snapped. I pulled over, hands shaking with rage. Warren had tried to kill Seth once. Now he was threatening him again, confident in his lawyers, in his money, in his position. The law couldn't touch him, but I could. I thought about Clay's words. About the midnight meeting. About Warren, alone and vulnerable. I thought about Seth's note. Make him pay. And I made a decision that would change everything. Chapter 7. The Architect's Revenge. The mall construction site sprawled across 15 acres of industrial wasteland, skeletal steel rising against the night sky. I arrived at 11 p.m., parking 2 blocks away and approaching on foot, dressed in black, face covered. Clay had texted me the details. Warren would be there from midnight to 12:30 a.m., conducting a quality inspection alone. The night security guard, Ollie Horton's cousin, had been paid to take an extended break. It was too perfect, too easy, which meant it was probably a trap. I didn't care anymore. I'd spent the evening getting my affairs in order. Wrote letters to Seth and Michelle, sealed them, left them in my safe deposit box. Updated my will. Said goodbye to my son while he slept, still too weak to talk but alive enough to fight. If this went wrong, at least I tried. The construction site was a maze of equipment, materials, and partially built structures. I knew every inch. I designed this mall myself 6 months ago, before Warren's involvement. Before I knew what he was. I positioned myself on the 3rd level of the parking structure, overlooking the main site. From here, I had clear sight lines and multiple exit routes. Warren's Mercedes pulled up at 11:55 p.m. He stepped out alone, carrying a briefcase, and walked toward the central building framework. His phone glowed in the darkness as he texted someone. I moved closer, using the shadows and construction debris for cover. Warren stopped in the center of the framework, surrounded by steel beams and concrete pillars. "I know you're here, Chris." I froze. "Come out. Let's talk like men." Slowly, I emerged from cover, keeping my distance. "How did you know?" Clay Hand. "He works for me now. Has for the past 2 days." Warren smiled. "He told me about your little plan. The midnight ambush. Very dramatic. My blood ran cold. Clay had sold me out. Don't blame him. Everyone has a price. His was $500,000 and a guarantee I wouldn't hurt his family." Warren set down his briefcase. "You should have taken Michelle's advice. Should have backed off when you had the chance. You tried to kill my son. I tried to protect my livelihood. Seth was going to destroy everything I'd built. I gave him a chance to walk away. He refused." Warren shrugged. "So yes, I drugged him and cut his brake lines. And I'd do it again." Hearing him confess, so casual and remorseless, ignited something primal in me. Victor, too. Victor was weak. A liability. He would have cracked under questioning eventually. Warren checked his watch. The suicide was elegant, I thought. Poetic even. You're a monster. I'm a businessman. Monsters don't plan 5 years ahead. Monsters don't build empires. He opened the briefcase, revealing a gun. Now, here's what's going to happen. You're going to die tonight. A tragic accident at the construction site. Distraught father, losing his mind with grief, comes here to, I don't know, sabotage my project? Kill himself? The narrative will write itself. I dove behind a concrete pillar as Warren fired. The bullet sparked off steel behind me. You can't run forever, Chris. There's nowhere to go. Another shot. Closer this time. I was unarmed. Stupid. I'd walked into this thinking I was the hunter, but I'd been the prey all along. Warren fired again, methodical, patient. I'll kill Michelle next. Frame it as a murder-suicide. Grieving father snaps, kills his wife, then himself. Seth will be orphaned, but alive. I'll take care of him, guide him, mold him, make sure he never asks questions again. Rage overrode fear. I grabbed a piece of rebar and circled around, using the framework for cover. Warren's footsteps echoed on concrete. You know what's funny? I actually liked you. You were a good partner. Honest, talented, naive. The perfect cover for my operations. I moved silently, getting closer. But Seth, Warren's voice hardened. Seth had to be like you. Had to be a hero. Had to dig until I swung the rebar, connecting with Warren's wrist. The gun clattered away into shadows. Warren stumbled back, clutching his arm. You bastard. I hit him again across the ribs. Heard something crack. That's for Seth. Another swing, catching his shoulder. That's for Victor. Warren fell, blood streaming from his mouth. You'll go to prison for this. Assault, attempted murder. You're going to confess. Everything. Highland Tower, Preston Street, all of it. Warren laughed, choking on blood. Never. You have no proof. Victor's dead. Seth can't testify about what he found. Clay betrayed you. It's over, Chris. You lost. I raised the rebar for a killing blow. Lights flooded the construction site. Police sirens wailed. Freeze! Drop the weapon. I turned, seeing a dozen officers surrounding the site, guns drawn. Detective Hammond emerged from the crowd. Chris Donaldson, drop the rebar and put your hands up. I looked down at Warren, bleeding and broken, that smug smile still on his face. I'd lost. He was right. I dropped the rebar and raised my hands. Chapter 8, Controlled Demolition. The interrogation room was exactly like the movies. Concrete walls, metal table, two-way mirror. I'd been here for 6 hours, cuffed and silent, while lawyers and cops argued outside. Finally, Hammond entered with a cup of coffee and a folder. Hell of a mess you made, Donaldson. He confessed to everything. Seth, Victor, the building failures. You heard him. We heard you assaulting a man with a deadly weapon. Hammond opened the folder. Warren's lawyer is screaming attempted murder. The DA wants to charge you with aggravated assault at minimum. He shot at me first. He lured me here to kill me. His lawyer says you attacked him unprovoked, that he fired in self-defense. And the only witness, Hammond paused, is Clay Hand, who says you've been unstable for weeks, making threats against Warren. Clay, the betrayal stung worse than anything Warren had done. So that's it. Warren walks, and I go to prison. Hammond leaned back. Not exactly. See, while you were playing vigilante, I was doing actual police work. He pulled out a phone. Recognize this? It was Warren's phone. We got a warrant for his communications. Turns out Warren's not as smart as he thinks. He kept records, texts to Victor, emails to Ollie Horton, bank transfers. All encrypted, but our tech guys are good. Hope flickered. You can prove it. We're building a case. But Chris, you need to understand. You assaulted a suspect in an ongoing investigation. That's a crime. A serious one. I was defending myself. Maybe. Probably. But you went to that site looking for a confrontation. You brought a weapon. A piece of rebar I grabbed. And you beat a man nearly to death. Hammond met my eyes. I get it. I do. If someone hurt my kid, I'd want blood too. But you can't take the law into your own hands. The law was failing. The law takes time. You didn't give it a chance. I slumped in the chair, exhaustion crashing over me. What happens now? Warren's in the hospital. Broken ribs, fractured wrist, concussion. He'll survive, and he's already filed charges against you. Hammond sighed. But here's the thing. While processing him, we found something interesting in his car. A burner phone with text to an unknown number, arranging Victor's murder. I sat up. You can prove Victor was killed? We're working on it. The ballistics were off for suicide. Entry angle was wrong. We've reopened the investigation. And if we can tie Warren to the shooter. Hammond smiled grimly. Then everything else falls into place. How long? Could be days. Could be weeks. Meanwhile, you're being charged with assault. The DA's offering a deal. Plead to a lesser charge. Anger management classes, probation. Given the circumstances, you'd likely avoid jail time. And Warren walks on bail until trial. Could be months before we have enough to charge him with murder. I thought about Seth, still recovering. About Michelle, who'd chosen her brother over her husband. About all the families Warren had hurt, all the lives destroyed. No deal, I said. I want a trial. Public record. Every piece of evidence presented in court. That's risky. You could get years in prison. Or we could expose Warren for what he is. Make his crimes public. Even if he beats the charges, everyone will know the truth. Hammond considered it. You're gambling with your life. I've got nothing left to lose. The bail hearing was 2 days later. My lawyer, a sharp woman named Iris Heath, who I'd lured from our PR department, argued for release on my own recognizance. The DA fought it, painting me as violent and dangerous. The judge granted bail at $500,000. I walked out of county jail to a media circus. Cameras flashed. Reporters shouted questions. I pushed through without comment. Clay was waiting by my truck. Go away, I said. Chris, wait. Let me explain. I grabbed him by the collar and slammed him against the truck. You sold me out to a murderer. I didn't have a choice. Warren threatened my kids. Said he'd burn my house down with them inside if I didn't cooperate. Clay's eyes were desperate. I'm sorry. God, I'm so sorry. But I had to protect my family. I shoved him away. You could have come to me. We could have protected them. He has people everywhere. Cops, judges, criminals. I didn't know who to trust. Clay wiped his eyes. But I've been gathering evidence. Everything Warren told me. Everything he asked me to do. I've recorded it all. I stared at him. What? I've been wearing a wire since he approached me. Every conversation, every instruction. I have him on tape admitting to Victor's murder, to sabotaging Seth's car, all of it. Clay pulled out his phone, playing a recording. Warren's voice, clear and damning. Make sure Chris doesn't walk away from the construction site. I wanted to look like an accident, understand? Just like Victor. You've had this the whole time. I was waiting for the right moment. For maximum impact. Clay looked at me. I know you hate me. I deserve it. But I'm trying to make this right. I took the phone, scrolling through the recordings. Hours of conversations. Confessions. Conspiracies. Hammond needs to hear this. I know. I was waiting for you to get out. Wanted to give it to you first. Clay's voice cracked. I'm sorry, Chris. For all of it. Warren played me, but I let myself be played. That's on me. I wanted to stay angry. But Clay had risked everything. His family, his safety, to get this evidence. We take this to Hammond together. And you testify. Everything Warren said, everything he did. Clay nodded. Whatever you need. The recordings changed everything. Hammond arrested Warren that night, this time without bail. The charges piled up. Conspiracy to commit murder, murder for hire, fraud, attempted murder, obstruction of justice. The media turned on Warren like sharks smelling blood. His lawyers' carefully constructed narrative collapsed. Investors pulled out of Donaldson Construction. The board forced Warren out, but the damage to my reputation remained. The assault charges stood, and Michelle still wasn't speaking to me. I visited Seth every day. He was off the ventilator now, talking in short sentences, remembering pieces of what happened. You got him, Seth rasped. We got him. He's going away for a long time. Good. Seth squeezed my hand. Mom, she's processing. Give her time. She'll come around. She's stubborn. Like you. I smiled, hoping he was right. The trial was set for 3 months out. Both trials, Warren's for murder, mine for assault. My lawyer was confident we could beat the charges or get them reduced to nothing. But sitting in Seth's hospital room, watching my son fight to recover from injuries his uncle inflicted, I realized something. Beating the charges wasn't enough. Warren needed to pay, really pay, and the justice system, even at its best, was still too kind for monsters. I thought about the buildings Warren had compromised, about the families still living in death traps, unknowing, unaware. And I made one final decision. Chapter 9, Final Blueprint. 3 months later, Warren's trial began with all the spectacle of a major case. The prosecution had everything: Clay's recordings, Warren's phone records, forensic evidence from Victor's murder scene, testimony from Seth about the drugging and brake tampering. It should have been a slam dunk. But Warren's lawyer was good. Theodore Finch was a shark who specialized in reasonable doubt. He painted Warren as a businessman caught up in circumstances beyond his control. The recordings were taken out of context. The forensic evidence was circumstantial. Clay was unreliable, trying to save himself. And Seth, recovering but still damaged, made a sympathetic victim but an inconsistent witness. His memory had gaps, his timeline was fuzzy. By week 2, I could see the jury wavering. My assault trial had been postponed until after Warren's, which meant I sat in the courtroom every day, watching justice slip through our fingers. Michelle sat on the opposite side of the courtroom. We hadn't spoken since I'd been arrested, but I caught her watching me sometimes, her expression unreadable. On day 12, the prosecution rested. Finch called Warren to the stand. He was perfect, remorseful but firm. He admitted to cutting corners on materials, a terrible mistake he deeply regretted, but insisted he never intended to hurt anyone. Victor's death devastated him. Seth's accident was a tragedy, but he had nothing to do with it. I love that boy like my own son, Warren said, tears streaming down his face. The idea that I would ever harm him is incomprehensible. I watched the jury. Half of them were buying it. That night, I met with Hammond and my lawyer at a coffee shop. "We're losing," I said. "The jury's still deliberating. We have a chance." "No, we don't. Finch is too good, and Warren's too convincing." I pulled out my laptop. So we go to Plan B. I'd spent the past 3 months working with Clay, going through every project Warren had touched. Every building, every shortcut, every compromise. We documented it all, not for court, but for something else. I showed them the website I'd built, thetruthaboutwarrenhatfield.com. It contained everything: Seth's investigation, Victor's testimony, photos of compromised buildings, names of every victim, video of Warren's confession at the construction site. We published this. Warren's reputation is destroyed regardless of the verdict, I said. Every family living in one of his buildings will know. Every investor, every partner. Even if he walks, he's finished. Hammond frowned. Some of this evidence is sealed. Publishing it could jeopardize the case. The case is already dead. We need a backup plan. This is vigilante justice, Chris. This is the truth. The public has a right to know they're living in death traps. Iris looked at the website. It's well done. Professional. If this goes live, it'll go viral within hours. But Hammond's right. You could face charges for releasing sealed evidence. I don't care. Warren's not walking away from this claim. Then add one more thing. Iris started typing. A civil lawsuit. Class action. Every person affected by Warren's construction practices. We bury him in litigation. Even if the criminal case fails, we take everything he owns. Over the next week, while the jury deliberated Warren's fate, we built the civil case. Dozens of families joined. Engineers provided expert testimony about the building's safety. We had structural assessments showing imminent danger in at least 8 major structures. The lawsuit made national news. And then the verdict came in. The courtroom was packed. Michelle sat in the front row, her mother beside her. Seth was there too, still using a cane, but strong enough to attend. The jury foreman stood. In the case of Estate versus Warren Hatfield, on the charge of murder in the first degree, we find the defendant not guilty. My heart sank. On the charge of conspiracy to commit murder, we find the defendant not guilty. No, this couldn't be happening. On the charge of fraud, We find the defendant guilty. A murmur went through the courtroom. On the charge of manslaughter in the deaths related to building failures, we find the defendant guilty. More guilty verdicts followed. Fraud, negligence, obstruction of justice. But not murder, not attempted murder. Warren would go to prison, but for years instead of life. And he'd still have his assets, his money, his ability to hurt people. The judge set sentencing for 2 weeks out. I left the courtroom in a daze. Hammond caught up with me in the hallway. It's not perfect, but it's something. He'll do 20 years at least. It's not enough. No, it's not. But it's what we have. I went home that night and published the website. Within hours, it was everywhere. News outlets picked it up. Social media exploded. Warren's face was on every channel, his crimes detailed in excruciating clarity. Protests erupted at the buildings he constructed. Families evacuated. The city condemned 3 structures within days. Warren's assets were frozen pending the civil lawsuit. His reputation was ashes. And then Michelle called. Can we talk? We met at a park near the hospital. She looked exhausted, older somehow. I'm sorry, she said. I should have believed you. Should have listened. You were protecting your brother. I get it. He tried to kill our son, Chris. Our baby. And I defended him. Tears streamed down her face. How do I live with that? I pulled her close. The same way I'm living with nearly beating him to death. We're both doing the best we can. Seth wants to see us. Together. He has something to say. We went to the hospital. Seth was sitting up, looking stronger than I'd seen him in months. About time, he said. You two done being stubborn? Michelle laughed through tears. When did you get so wise? Near-death experience. Gives you perspective. Seth took both our hands. I need you to promise me something. Both of you. Anything, I said. Stop blaming yourselves. Warren made his choices. We made ours. Some were good, some are bad. But we're all still here. Still fighting. That's what matters. When did our kid become the adult? Michelle asked. When his parents turned into dramatic messes. Seth grinned. Also, Dad, I saw the website. Brilliant work. Your investigation. I just published it. We make a good team. Speaking of which, Seth pulled out his laptop. I've been working on a follow-up story. Local journalist exposes corruption in city inspection department. Lots of people took Warren's money. They should all face consequences. You should rest. Recover. I've been resting for 3 months. I'm ready to work. Seth's expression turned serious. Warren tried to kill me because I got close to the truth. If I stop now, he wins. Even from prison. He was right. The fight wasn't over. It would never be over. 2 weeks later, Warren was sentenced to 32 years in prison. With his age and health, it was effectively a life sentence. I attended the sentencing. Our eyes met across the courtroom. You destroyed everything I built, Warren said as they led him away. No, I replied. You did that yourself. My assault charges were dismissed, self-defense, given Warren's attempt to kill me. My reputation was damaged, but slowly rebuilding. Donaldson Construction was under new management, with Clay as my partner, committed to reviewing every project and fixing Warren's mistakes. Seth's expose on city corruption led to 12 arrests and a complete overhaul of the inspection department. He won a journalism award and got a job offer from a national paper. Michelle and I started couple therapy. It was slow, painful work, but we were committed to healing. 6 months after Warren's sentencing, I visited him in prison. He'd lost weight, aged years and months. Why are you here? He asked through the glass. To make sure you understand something. Every day you wake up in this cell, remember that you put yourself here. Not me, not Seth. You, your choices, your greed. Warren's eyes were hollow. You won. Congratulations. This isn't about winning. It's about justice. For Victor. For everyone who died because of your buildings. For Seth. I stood to leave. You're going to die in here, Warren. Alone. Forgotten. That's what you earned. I walked away and didn't look back. Epilogue. 1 year later. Seth graduated from college with honors, his investigative journalism degree paid for by the awards he'd won. The Donaldson Foundation, funded by the civil lawsuit settlement, provided support for families affected by Warren's construction failures. Michelle and I renewed our vows on our 20th anniversary. It wasn't perfect, but we were stronger for having survived. Clay and I rebuilt Donaldson Construction with a new mission: integrity above profit. Every building inspected, every material verified, every worker valued. Warren Hatfield became a cautionary tale in business schools. The documentary Seth helped produce, Blueprint for Disaster, won an Emmy. And late at night, when I sat in Seth's hospital room watching him sleep, I finally understood something. Revenge isn't about making someone pay. It's about making sure they can never hurt anyone else again. Warren was behind bars. His empire was dust. His victims had justice. And my son was alive, strong, fighting to make the world better. That was the only victory that mattered.
This is where our story comes to an end. Share your thoughts in the comments section. Thanks for your precious time. If you enjoyed this story, then please make sure you subscribe to this channel. That would help me a lot. Click on the video you see on the screen, and I will see you there.